Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, and I would no sooner jump out of an airplane without a parachute than I would do my keto, low-carb, high-fat food plan. What does that mean? Well, if you were jumping out of an airplane, you would hope that you had some lessons about it and an instructor and a parachute that had complied with all the safety features. I don't know, I've never jumped out of an airplane. And that sort of thing. To fly with the unstructured, unfiltered, unrestricted, no discipline food plan is really looking for failure. Failure of the food plan. Not failure of yourself if you learn something from it. Sometimes the nugget of knowledge comes from failure, right? We know that. Thomas Edison, for example, Ben Franklin, again. So, but for us, we have so many tools available for us, whether you're in Weight Watchers with the Smart Points, or you're doing low-carb, high-fat, or low-carb, high-fat keto, or just counting calories and avoiding things that you know you can't eat. Isn't that part of it? Knowing you can't eat something. If you have, they say that when you slip and fall, don't look at where you fell, look at where you began to slip. Was it with that dastardly Halloween candy? Those little snack size candies that look so innocent, but they are really ominous. They will open the door for your forest fire, thank you, Steph, your forest fire of the addiction coming back roaring, looking for more and more. If you have an addiction to sugar, or you're not sure, then if you have some and you find yourself an hour or two later looking for more, then you might have a problem. Now, some people don't like to go so far as to say, I don't have an addiction to sugar. Do you have a problem with it? Is it something that if it's around and you have one, you have to keep going back? Have you tried all types of things, like instead of buying the larger size candy bar, you buy the snack size, and that was an epic fail? Have you bought a bag of M&Ms and thought that you could have just a handful and put it away, and that was an epic fail? So then you bought the individual pouches because you figured you could have it? Don't miss the obvious. The obvious is that it's sugar, it's wicked fake chocolate, and it's filled with chemicals. So there's no nutritive value to that sugar. That's just candy. How about some other things? Well, there's no essential grain needed. And in the book that I'm reading, No Pain, No Grain, he calls without giving up all grains, he calls the most dangerous ones brow, which would be barley, rice, oats, and wheat. Oh, rye, not rice. So barley, rye, oats, and wheat. And so brow, because my maiden name is similar to that. That's why it was easy for me to remember that. But, as I'm reading his book, I'm on page 55 now. As I'm reading it, I see that, it's the all grains, but those are the culprits. But there is gluten that will begin to build from the other grains, rice, sorghum, millet, even buckwheat, which I always thought was not a grain, because I had buckwheat pancakes about a year or so ago, and because I heard that it came from a plant family. Well, maybe not. So anyway, but I'm not having the buckwheat pancakes today. But if I did, they would be tracked, and I would be having real maple sugar and maple syrup and not the stuff with the chemicals in it. So if you find that you have some dangerous foods, you might have to sacrifice and give up something that's not working for you, right? If you were asked to be in a movie and they were taping up in Canada and they were taping through the middle of December, well, that meant you might miss coming home for Thanksgiving. That's part of the sacrifice. The good part is that you're in a movie and you're getting a paycheck. And the sacrifice is that you have to give up a holiday to be with your loved ones. But that's what we have to do. And so if you're on a certain food plan that restricts things, if you're on Smart Points, then you can't go above a certain amount of Smart Points. And on my food plan, I can't let grains or sugar slip into my food plan. It would be a disaster for me. I am fat adapted. I'm sure that metabolically I am healing decades of stuff. I mean, I didn't give up grains till I was 65. So I had a lot of grains, and added sugar, same deal. You know, decades of it, working around it, trying the sugar-free substitutes and just going, oh no, I don't like these. And, but wanting to so much so I could shave the calories, because it was always about the calories when I was first trying to deal with my overweight issues at a very, very young age. Like I was fat at 10 and starting to get fat at 9. By 10 I was, and the struggles began. The nicknames began. The teasing began. You know, the babysitting and buying candy and shoving in it as fast as I could. No, kids, you go play on the slide. And I would be shoving, literally shoving. But there's no full button. I didn't have a full button for a long, long time. So if you're going to, if your goal is to lose weight and slip into a size something skinny jeans, or your wedding dress for your 25th, your wedding gown, or you're going to a class reunion like I recently did, or you're going on a cruise, or you're going to some warm, sunny climb that would require, you might want to have a bathing suit or some sexy little things, even a, you know, this, whatever that sari thing is, that thing that you tie with your midriff showing. Wouldn't you love to have all of that? Well, that's going to take some sacrifice. That means some of the things that you might enjoy through Thanksgiving and Christmas, because here they come, you might have to forego in order to go on the February school vacation, right? So the sacrifices are good. They make you stronger. They empower you. They teach you that going without might not be that bad. Might not. You know, but we don't know, because our habits or our food choices are sometimes so embedded in us, we don't even realize that, you know, we're just eating them. So sometimes I kind of change it up. Yesterday I had 1 ounce of blueberries instead of 2 ounces. And today I'm not having any blueberries, just to change it up for a second. So if I go back to my 1 or 2 ounces of blueberries later next week, I'm appreciating them again. That's how that whole thing works for me. And so I'm hoping that if you are restricting or sacrificing, going without, that you feel good about that. You feel this is the right thing to do. You feel that this could be the thing that was stalling me for the first 4 months. I know that when I joined Weight Watchers, I had a good couple of months and then it stalled. And that's when I read Dr. William Davis's Wheat Belly. And then the next month I read Total Health by Dr. William Davis. And that was really the beginning of my getting healthy with my gut journey, because there were no grains and no added sugars. But did I get the discipline and the structure from being a member of Weight Watchers? Yes, I did. I was still eating the things that I was eating before and gaining just smaller amounts. And that worked until it didn't. This is all a process. It's a very personal process. Just like your food plan today is very personalized, and what works for somebody might not work for somebody else. I know that I am addicted to carbs, I am addicted to sugars. Plain and simple, just like that. Can't have them. They light up the brain. They start on me. I can't have my old favorites in the house. Greg's stuff doesn't bother me because it's not my type of carb or sugar. But I know my carbs and sugars, and they aren't in the house anymore. They can't be. I'm addicted to them. I can't eat those sugars and those carbs in safety. I just know that. How do I know that? From epic failures along the way. The ho-hum, I blew it, I might as well keep going. And then tomorrow I'm going to get back on track. Probably one of our most favorite women here in the world of YouTube podcasts hasn't been seen for a couple of months. You know, does that mean she's having success? Usually it doesn't when we see them again. They've fallen off their own rail, their own tracks, and it's so hard to get back. And we can't assume that just because we have one, what they call, and I don't like, cheat meal, cheat day, cheat weekend, cheat vacation, there's no guarantees you're coming back. There aren't. It's no different than a drug addict having, a drug addict doesn't have a cheat heroin shot. They don't take the weekend off to do heroin and think they'll come back Monday. We have no idea where our addiction can take us, what it will do to our head. And you know, I know there was one period in my life I just stopped exercising. I woke up one day and stopped exercising. And it took years to get back to exercising. Well, what was up with that? As quick as I started it, I stopped it. And I never gave it a thought. I never missed it. I loved it. It was really wild. It could be the same with food if I allow it. I have to be ever, ever vigilant and transparent. Transparent to especially all you pickles. And so I don't want to see you fall off the rails. I don't want to think that you can have one big treat of a dinner, a day, a weekend, a vacation, and come back safely. I'm hoping that all the time that you have the structure and the discipline and the restricted foods staying restricted, that you will come to see that you prefer it. And when you prefer it, you stick with it. One of my favorite sayings is, when you know better, you do better. And a day at a time, as you are on your food journey, I know you're going to learn something. And so you're learning more. So once you learn more, you're going to do better. So that's how that rolls. That's why I love that saying. When we know better, we do better. So have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Bye-bye for now. Have a better day.